Welcome to this explainer. Okay, if you're a brick-and-mortar gun store owner looking to, expand your footprint, or maybe you're an entrepreneur eyeing the highly profitable world of firearms e-commerce, you already know there's a massive amount of revenue potential out there, but man, it is a deeply, deeply regulated space. Today, we're going to unpack the ultimate online firearms blueprint. We are talking about breaking down the complex web of compliance, the harsh reality of shipping logistics, and honestly, perhaps the biggest hurdle of the whole shebang, securing reliable payment processing so you can actually get paid. So grab your notes, because we've got a lot of vital ground to cover.
Stepping into e-commerce usually feels pretty straightforward these days, right? But in this niche, you're going to run smack into what we call the invisible wall of firearms e-commerce. You literally can't just set up a standard digital storefront, list your inventory, hit sell, and start collecting credit card payments like you would with, t-shirts or coffee mugs. Because of strict federal laws, intricate state-by-state local ordinances, and some serious payment industry pushback, the standard e-commerce playbook, it completely fails here. You absolutely need a specialized approach to break through that wall.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our structured blueprint for today. 1. Legalities and logistics. 2. Store foundation. 3. The payment bottleneck. 4. The specialized solution. And finally, 5. Safe scaling.
Section 1, Legalities and Logistics. So this is your very first major hurdle, and it all starts with defining exactly what you're legally allowed to sell based on your specific licensing. Take a look at the clear dividing line created by your business model. Catalog accuracy is literally everything here. On the left, if you're selling handguns, long guns, or short-barreled rifles, a federal firearms license, an FFL, is absolutely required. No way around it. But over on the right, if your catalog is just optics, gun apparel, parts, cleaning kits, or even standard ammo, well, depending on your specific state and local laws, you might not need an FFL. So catalog accuracy is your very first critical step. It completely determines your federal compliance, and honestly, it dictates which payment processors will even look at your application later on.
Now, if your product catalog does land you on the FFL side of the business, you really need to treat this license as your foundational requirement. Basically, anyone engaged in commercial firearm sales has to have it. The process boils down to 3 main steps. First, you submit ATF Form 7 or 7C along with the required application fee. Second, you've got to submit to and pass a thorough background check. And third, a local ATF officer is actually going to schedule an in-person interview. They do this to verify that you're fully compliant, not just with federal law, but with your specific state and local regulations too.
So, the crucial point you really must understand is this. You cannot ship firearms directly to customers. Actually, let me repeat that. No direct shipping. If you're used to the whole Amazon Prime expectation of 2-day doorstep delivery, you have to completely reset your logistical expectations and, more importantly, the expectations of your buyers.
Here's the reality of the FFL to FFL transfer process. When a customer buys a firearm on your site, you're actually shipping that firearm to another FFL holder in their local area, not to the individual's house. The customer then has to physically go visit that local dealer to complete the necessary background checks and paperwork to finalize the purchase. For logistics, this means carrier tracking is absolutely required so the buyer knows exactly when to head to the store. Plus, an adult signature is mandatory upon delivery. And keep in mind, local ordinances might also mandate waiting periods or even prohibit certain sales entirely, so your logistics system really must account for regional restrictions. It's like a giant puzzle you have to get exactly right.
Section 2, Store Foundation. Looking at the actual infrastructure of your website, your store's policies are essential risk management tools. Having these elements clearly visible in your website's header or footer, that's not just about looking professional, it is literally about business survival. You absolutely need a transparent shipping policy because, well, some carriers outright refuse to handle firearms or ammo. You also need a strict returns policy detailing any restocking fees or time windows. And you must have robust customer support channels, chat, email, and phone. Why? Because bulletproof store policies and prompt customer service drastically reduce consumer disputes. And reducing disputes is exactly what financial underwriters are going to look for when you finally apply for a merchant account.
Section 3, the payment bottleneck.
Okay, so we've reached a critical hurdle for this industry, and it's a super frustrating reality. You've got the license, you've got the website, you've got the inventory, but you can't process a single credit card. So what does this all mean? Why do mainstream payment processors universally reject gun stores?
Well, mainstream payment service providers, or PSPs, completely avoid the firearms industry because it carries the label of a high-risk merchant. And listen, this label isn't a moral judgment, it's strictly a financial and legal one.
The firearms sector has historically faced elevated fraud potential, higher than average chargeback rates, and an incredibly complex regulatory landscape. Mainstream processors operate on massive volume and super low margins, which basically means they simply don't want to spend the resources required to monitor the legal intricacies of federal and local gun laws. It's just too much of a headache for them.
And even if your e-commerce platform, like, say, Shopify or WooCommerce, allows firearm sales in theory, the PSPs powering the transactions often won't. Relying on a mainstream provider is incredibly dangerous. For instance, PayPal has notoriously vague policies regarding what specific firearm accessories are actually allowed. If you guess wrong, or if their internal risk algorithm just randomly flags a transaction, they will freeze your funds and terminate your account overnight. Literally, no warning. Just a dead business.
Section 4. The specialized solution.
But don't worry, there is absolutely a way through this financial wall, and it starts by stepping away from mainstream providers. Take a look at this quote from Paul Smith, the director of sales at Adaptiv Payments. He says, "Underwrite based on experience, not mainstream risk assessments." See, industry experts like Adaptiv Payments actually understand the unique needs of gun businesses. Instead of some automated algorithm rejecting you based on a single keyword, an actual industry professional reviews your business model, assesses the real risk, and provides tailored underwriting to get you approved safely. It's a real game changer.
But to get that approval, you got to do your homework. Here is your ultimate checklist. To get approved by a high-risk underwriter, you need to provide your business documents, like your EIN and Articles of Incorporation. You need to provide your FFL, assuming your catalog requires it. Your product catalog must perfectly match your inventory, so the underwriter knows exactly what they're taking a risk on. And finally, you must present those clear store policies and that fulfillment plan we talked about earlier to prove you could actually mitigate disputes.
And this brilliantly illustrates how partnering with the right specialized processor, like Adaptiv Payments, doesn't just prevent sudden closures, it completely equips your account with essential tech. We're talking about highly secure PCI DSS-compliant payment gateways with SSL encryption. They offer real-time, advanced fraud detection and chargeback mitigation tools that catch problems way before they ever hit your bank. Plus, they offer seamless integrations with all the major e-commerce platforms like Shopify, WooCommerce, and BigCommerce. That way, your customer experiences a fast, seamless checkout, and you get peace of mind.
Section 5. Safe Scaling.
All right, so you've got your compliance store, you've got your secure high-risk merchant account, and hey, orders are finally coming in. Let's look at how to build long-term success. You really have to understand that unexpected changes to your transaction volume or even your average order value will instantly trigger alarms with your processor. Sudden volume spikes might seem like a huge win for sales, right? But they actually risk your account being flagged or closed, and they put massive strain on your fulfillment team. Instead, you want to aim for gradual volume ramps. A slow and steady expansion of your catalog and transaction volume ensures operational stability, and most importantly, it keeps your banking relationships safe and secure.
To scale safely, you need strict adherence to these best practices. First, set clear, custom billing descriptors with your exact business name. Actually, fun fact, unclear descriptors are a massive cause of chargebacks, just because customers literally don't recognize the charge on their credit card statement. Second, proactively communicate any shipping delays before the buyer even has a chance to complain. Third, monitor your merchant account for disputes at least once a week. And finally, hit your fast fulfillment speed targets. Slow shipping frustrates buyers and leads straight to disputes. Mastering these practices is absolutely crucial to protecting your cash flow.
So I leave you with this final provocative thought. Are you ready to navigate the red tape, master your compliance, and unlock the true profit potential of firearms e-commerce? By applying this structured blueprint, understanding your legal catalog, building those airtight policies, and partnering with specialized payment experts like Adaptiv Payments who actually understand your industry, you can successfully launch and scale your compliant online gun store. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.